Hello? Hello? All right, guys, we are live. I'm gonna make this short and sweet today. I didn't have a lot of time to work on my Christmas tree. I mean, I did. I got some stuff done, but I don't really have a lot of time right now. I am kind of on standby right now because my girlfriend is due any day now, possibly today. And I'm just kind of standing at the ready to bring her to the airport. I took the next couple of days off to make sure I can, not the airport, the hospital, excuse me. Got the next couple of days off so I can be there. I'm super excited. But I wanted to do a quick one more stream before Christmas, so to speak, and before I become a dad. And I want to talk about Zbrush, or Dynamesh, excuse me, and some quick little tips and tricks you can do to avoid these holes. Funny enough, my computer just crashed on me, so let's just delete this guy, and we'll go down to initialize, and we'll just do a Q cube, and then I'll unify that, make it a good size for ZBrush. I'll just go ahead and get rid of these edges because we don't really need those. Let me get my bearings here. There we go. That should be the front. And let's just shrink it down this way and hop back into. Why is it doing that? What's going on? Oh. There we go. Okay, guys. So let's get rid of the floor and switch to the Claybuildup. So sometimes when you're doing something and you have like a kind of a thin area of an object or a mesh, like let me increase the resolution so this is just a little bit. Let's do like maybe 256. See what that looks like. Yeah, that should be plenty. And you know, you go through and you do some sculpting, and you get this on the other side, and you're like, oh man, I really didn't want that to happen. And then you Dynamesh and you get those holes. You still want this, the sculpting you did, but you don't want to get those holes or those artifacts in there. Something you can do before you even get started is you can turn on backface masking. I have a custom interface, but you can just jump into brushes and then go to auto masking and then hit backface masking here. And that way, when you sculpt again, it'll only sculpt on one side. Now you can't do that on, let's say you have, let's insert, oops, where'd it go? Insert a plane. So you have a plane, And you notice when you flip it around, you only see one side. You could just pretend that side doesn't exist. So even if you use, let's see, let me Dynamesh that. Even if you did use backface masking, there are no back faces to mask on a single plane. There's only one face. So it's not going to do you any good. So before you even get to that point with something as thin as a plane, a good rule of thumb with Zbrush is to just give it some thickness, even if it's just a tiny bit. So you could go into your like a Z modeler brush. Let's see, I think this is the actual front. And it's on Q mesh. Let's see, we'll do front facing all. Just Q mesh it out just a little bit. And now it'll actually have two sides. That's just something to keep in mind before you even start Dynameshing anything. Generally, you don't want to try to Dynamesh just a flat plane and sculpt on it. I mean, there are reasons you would want to do that, but if you're trying to avoid the artifacts and the holes, you want to stay away from that. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. So you got your mesh. It's a manifold mesh. That means it's got actual thickness to it, and it's got two sides. So one of the first things you can do is make sure you have backface masking on when you sculpt. That'll help a lot. But let's say for some reason you didn't know about that and you did sculpt, and you got some of that action in there. Let me kind of reduce that a little. You can see we're still getting that, you know. And one of the first things you'll find people will tell you to do is use the Inflate Brush, which definitely does work. So you can just kind of inflate all that. Whoops. But again, you want to turn backface masking on so that only masks this side, and anything that's on the back side of what you're viewing shouldn't be inflated. See, it's not affecting that. But the problem with this is it does work, and it, you know, you kind of get to that point, and now you can Dynamesh again. And if you smooth it out, you're pretty much good to go, and you haven't affected that side. And that's one way to do it, and it definitely works. It's great for like say you're doing like twigs and branches. You can kind of like slowly go through and inflate, and then smooth it out, and then Dynamesh again. But say you wanted to do that, you want to fix your holes, but you don't want to have this bump on this side. So let's just go back to our holes, or I'll just go back again and sculpt. And now if we Dynamesh, let me do it a little more aggressively. There. So we got some holes, and say you like what you have sculpted, but you just wanted to get rid of the holes. So go back one, and before you Z-remeshed it, or excuse me, Dynameshed it. And a good fix that I found when you want to keep this flat plane on is the planer brush. Again, you want to turn on backface masking. It's one of those things that I'm just kind of wondering why it's not on by default, because most of the brushes don't really benefit from having it off. But it's like when you're first learning ZBrush, it's just so frustrating getting all these holes on both sides of your mesh. But anyways, so I've got the planer brush, and for the plane, you can just, if you guys don't know, the shortcut for the brushes is just B, and then you can hit P, and it's L. But I just have I have a little custom interface, and I've just kind of planted it over here. And the planer brush, wherever you start, it looks at the surface of where you're starting, and then it pulls everything to that surface, or pushes it to that surface. So if I do it this way, it does nothing, but if you hold Alt and do it, it'll try to get as much of it as it can to where that is. And at first it looks like it doesn't do much, but if you smooth it, and then do it again, then smooth it, then do it again, then smooth it, and do it again, and then smooth it, do it again. Whoops. See, I didn't follow my own advice. Another brush is the smooth brush. And when you hit smooth, which is by default in ZBrush is the shift key, and it turns blue. You can see it's blue right now, the cursor. You still have the option while you're holding shift down to hit back face masking. And now when I hit, I'll just show you. If I smooth it without back face masking, I smooth both sides. And I don't want that to happen. And if I hold shift now and have back face masking on and smooth it, it doesn't touch that side. So I can smooth it, planer brush, holding Alt, smooth it, planer brush, holding Alt, smooth it, planer brush, holding Alt, smooth, planer brush, holding Alt. Whoops. I turned back face masking off again. Okay, let's try that one more time, shall we? So smooth brush has back face masking on now, and planer brush also has back face masking on. Wow, I'm having a tough time today. So, okay, let's try that again. So let's just run the planer brush with back face masking on. And it looks terrible, but it hasn't touched the other side. Let's smooth that out a bit with back face masking on. Wait, why is it? It shouldn't be affecting it that much. Z add, that's weird. Okay, there we go. I guess it does go through with the shift. You have to be a little more, you have to try to get the walls, I guess. Let's see, yeah, that we're looking better. Then we'll run the planer brush on it again. Now we're still looking okay. So I guess you still, even with back face masking on the shift brush, you kind of have to try to get just the walls. For some reason I thought it worked. It seemed to work for me the other day, but... And then the planer brush. And at this point, if you wanted to, you could probably do another Dynamesh. Oh, I guess not. Nope. We still need to get that. We still need to get the bottom of this up to here. So we'll smooth the walls again. Run the planer brush. Smooth the walls. Get the planer brush. Looking good. It's a little tedious, but it'll definitely help you out when you've sculpted something that you like and you don't want to undo it, but you need to Dynamesh to continue adding more detail to your mesh. It's a lifesaver. We should be able to smooth this really hard now. There we go. And it totally affected that side. That's so weird. Maybe I'm totally wrong here. I just did it the other day in my stream where it didn't, let's jump back. In my stream where I was working on my Christmas tree with no sound. Hopefully the sound's working today. Somebody could let me know, that'd be awesome. So smooth this side out. Let's see what happens. Okay, that looks good. Smoothing with backface masking does work. It's Dynamesh. All right, we're good to go. Didn't affect this side. Now you should be able to use the planer brush. Dynamesh. Didn't affect that side. Okay, that's what it is. You have to kind of smooth it out first. Why is it? I don't understand. If I have backface masking on, it should not affect that side. Frustrating. I swear it was working the other day. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we're looking good. See what happens when I smooth it out. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, we definitely did not alter it. So I need to smooth it out a little bit more. Okay. Now let's see what happens when I hit it with the planer. Holding Alt. Now smooth that out again. Okay, it's working. Everything seems to be going according to plan this time. Smooth it out again. Working. Smooth it out. And then let's try making the planer brush bigger and see what happens. Perfect. And now when you Dynamesh, you have a nice, perfectly flat surface on this side, and you still have your detail. I'm not sure why that wasn't working out with the first couple of tries. And then let's do it one more time. That's probably a little more than we need. And we'll oh, a little bit more. That should be good. There we go. Plenty of holes this time. So we like the sculpt, but we don't want the holes. So we go back, and you can use a combination of what I was just doing. You could go to the, the planer brush. You could do a smooth first of all. Make sure it doesn't affect it. I'm not sure what was going on there the first couple of times, why it was affecting it. Yeah, it's affecting it still. That's so weird. It should not, with backface masking on, it shouldn't do that. But let's try hitting it with the planer brush first. Make it a little bigger. Okay, we're looking good. And I'll just smooth the sides out. Sometimes if you turn double on, you can see the mesh from the other side sticking out. See what I'm doing with Dynamesh. Still getting the holes. So run the planer brush again. And then smooth it out. All right, looking good. Smooth it. Here we go. And sometimes a couple of things that I've tried that work pretty well actually is you can just kind of plug it. So let's scale this down, rotate it. Let's see, I think it's control. Shift. If you hold shift, it goes in increments. So we'll do 90. Just kind of put that where we want it. And then we'll shrink it down till it's not fitting or over too big for that other side. Just kind of literally like put a cork in it. Need to bring it down just a more. Bring it up. See, and we can go in the Z modeler brush. And just kind of shrink that side down. That should be pretty good. Let's inflate it just a little bit. Bring it down. Make sure we're not sticking out anywhere. So you got your plug. And then you just hop back up to the first mesh and you can merge it down. You hit OK. Now when we Dynamesh, you still totally maintain that top part. It got a little bit of the artifacts from the original, but we'll be fine there. And now you can just go back to your planar brush. And without holding Alt, just in normal, you can just smooth that out. And then do it one more time. Smooth it out. I should have made that a little bigger and it wouldn't have done that. Wonder why it's not. Then you can hop to the Inflate Brush. This is where the Inflate Brush comes in really handy for these parts. Sometimes it's just so stubborn it doesn't want to cooperate. Just really go crazy inflating it. Although it does give you a really neat effect. Then you can switch to the the joy of Zbrush. It's weird how it just won't cooperate sometimes. Hop back to the Inflate. Z-remesh, smooth that out. Z-remesh. Inflate, inflate. And this isn't the, I just wanted to point these things out as some tips and tricks to help you get rid of it, because it's so annoying. When I first started using ZBrush and I started encountering that, it was so frustrating not having any options, and I just kind of wanted to throw out some basic ideas and ways you can do that, you know. Especially when you have like sculpted something and you've been sculpting on it for hours, and then you Dynamesh and you get these big holes and you're just like, what do I do? So that's a couple ways to do it, you know. So you can literally, the most common ways, you know, here, let's just bring this back to normal, the planer brush. Or let me just go ahead and smooth these. And then we'll, should be nice and smooth again, both sides, for the most part. So just a little recap. So you have your brush. There we go. You know, and you forgot to have backface masking on, and you go to Dynamesh, and you get all these holes, and you're like, oh, that sucks. So you can turn on Inflate. Unfortunately, that doesn't work with the backface masking deal. Just kind of, is it working? I stand corrected, it does work. It gets all crazy looking, but that's okay. It actually looks super cool sometimes. Be a good way to make crystals, maybe. So you have the inflate technique. And as long as it doesn't penetrate through, oh, there it goes. Starting to penetrate through my original mesh. As long as it doesn't penetrate through, you're okay. Then you can Dynamesh. And you look okay. And then you should be able to smooth that out. And then inflate again. And then Dynamesh. It looks like a good like alien pore or something. Then smooth it out and then Dynamesh. That's kind of the inflate technique. You inflate, smooth, or inflate, Dynamesh, and smooth it out. And once you get to that point, you can go ahead and use the planer brush and just hold down Alt while you're using it. That'll bring it all to like 1 point pretty much. Make sure we're not affecting our other side. Smooth that out. And then you can use your planer brush to like get it totally flat. Smooth it out. Give it a quick Dynamesh. Looking good. And then the like brute force method that I've found that works fairly well most of the time is the good old plug. You know, just get it till it's about the size of the hole you need. Place it. Give it a look. Make sure the borders are all around. Gonna shrink it down and make sure it's not on that side of the mesh. This side doesn't really matter so much. We can make it a little bigger probably. Hop back to your top one. Merge down so they're one mesh. And then Dynamesh it. Oh, let me let me shrink that a little. There we go. Okay. Now we can Dynamesh. And we're good. And you can just probably hit that with a smooth real quick, just to make sure the edges are sealed together. Dynamesh. And then hit it with the planer brush. That is so weird. What is that, I wonder? So I should probably hit this whole thing to smooth. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. Maybe the inflate brush would be a better option. Just kind of inflate, like weld it. Kind of weld these edges. And you can see how it's bringing that edge out. So it's almost like you're actually welding this thing in there. There, now when we smooth it, should be fine. Hop back to the planer, and we should be good now. Or not. That is so weird. I don't understand why it's doing that. What? Maybe if I make it huge. I'll just go ahead and inflate this part. Since it's being weird. Give it a nope. Smooth. Inflate. Whoa. That's so weird. So maybe you guys can point out what I'm not doing right here, because I have backface masking on. Anybody who knows. Let's see what happens. Whoa. That is totally not what I wanted to have happen. Okay, let's smooth that out. Dynamesh. Now let's hit that with the inflate brush. Okay, smooth that out. Inflate brush, smooth it out. I guess I had the brush too big. What you want to do when you're inflating and dynameshing is get rid of these little pricks. Once you don't see any of those after you've smoothed it and dynameshed it, you usually are good to go. So Dynamesh, and now we should be okay when I hit the planer brush. All right, there we go. So it's a little bit of trial and error. Again, it's just the most common way is the inflate brush. You inflate the area and then Dynamesh and then smooth it out, inflate it, Dynamesh, kind of rinse and repeat. The planer brush works good to like bring the surface up to another surface's level. You just hold Alt if you want to reverse it. That's how most of the brushes are. Alt is like, for example, the Alt is add without Alt, and then you can just hold Alt to subtract, if you guys didn't already know that. Most of the brushes in ZBrush, as far as I know, work that way. And then you can also, worst case scenario, make an actual plug it in there. You could almost do like a live boolean plug if you wanted. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share those little tips and tricks that I've found that work fairly well. They're not foolproof, but they definitely help. And you know, if you're an advanced ZBrush user, you probably already knew all that. But if you're like me and you've only been using it for about a year or so, and on the side, you know, you're still kind of learning the ins and outs. That's one of the stumbling blocks you come across, is those holes when you Dynamesh. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm gonna be gone for a little while, probably. You know, Christmas coming up, and my son coming up. So I'll probably be gone for a good week. I'm gonna try to post some videos that I've been trying to edit. So they might be a little kooky because I'm not very good at editing videos, but I think they'll be interesting a little bit. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, happy holidays. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Questions, comments, definitely leave them in the section below. And I will see you guys after the holidays. Peace. Merry Christmas.